What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I want to give you something to think about if you are ever in Barcelona. So, if you're ever in Barcelona, you're probably going to want to go for a run. There are loads of touristy things to see. And right now it is about 7:30 in the morning, so there's not a lot of people around, but you have to get started early because Barcelona sees over 1 million tourists a week, as well as its 1.6 million residents. So in the middle of the day, it gets pretty busy. Right now we are on La Rambla. You probably also know it as La Ramblas. That's because La Rambla is actually made up of 5 different streets. And La Rambla is a pedestrianized area with lots of stalls and shopping and just loads of people, usually all around. In fact, I'm actually surprised how many people are still out at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, and just one other fact, while we are running around the city today, it's important to remember that Barcelona is the 4th most popular city in the world for taking selfies. I don't know how they measure that metric, but come with me as we do the same. Oh, another runner just ran by. Okay, today is going to be a bit of a hike, so I need to get going. Come on. Alright guys, our first stop today is actually, I've only been running for about 30 seconds from my hotel, but this is La Boqueria. Now the Boqueria is the oldest market in Spain, and it's actually called the San Jose market because it's built on the old remains of the convent of San Jose de la Carmelitas. And there is reference to this market going back to 1217. So yeah, it's been here a while. There are 300 stores on over 2,500 square meters of space. It's absolutely enormous, and right now they're just setting up, so we're not going to go in. I'm going to come back after my run, maybe pick up something to eat, but come on, onward. Hi guys, I didn't know if I was going to bring you here on one of the stops, but I think if you are in Barcelona, then the Magic Fountain of Montjuic is a definite place that you need to see. Now the reason I wasn't sure if I was going to bring you here is that I knew I was going to be here super early in the morning, and the fountain only has its shows at night. But there's another reason. The fountain is actually closed for about 2 months while I'm here. So you can see it's all wrapped in fencing and it's under construction at the moment. I guess they're just doing some annual improvements. But it is such a beautiful area that I definitely think this is somewhere that you need to come and see. Even if you don't see their nightly shows, which happen anywhere between 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, depending on what time of year it is. But the Magic Fountain was designed and built for Barcelona's second World Fair in 1929. It took 3,000 workers an entire year to build. And I think what makes this a little better than the fountain show at Bellagio is that it's more colorful and you can get right up close. At least when you're in Las Vegas seeing the Bellagio show, they keep you way back. Here, I am right on top of the fountain. So depending on when you are watching this fountain is closed until December 21st, 2022. But they do close it every year about the same time. Okay, next up is the longest actual part of my run in between areas. And I almost didn't come to the Magic Fountain because it added another couple miles to my run, but that's okay. I am out for a run. Okay, let me make it down these stairs. Hey, did you know that there are over 130 hectares of pedestrianized space in Barcelona? But get this, Barcelona still has one of the worst driving records for the city. Someone gets hit by a car every 19 seconds here. Barcelona is the 2nd largest city in Spain. I think I already said that. It is the capital of Catalonia, and Catalonia is one of the 17 autonomous regions in Spain. And Barcelona is located about 90 miles or 150 kilometers south of the French border on the Med. All right, let's get going. I think we have to go uphill on this next part of the run. Come on. I've actually seen quite a few runners out. It's been lovely, but the traffic is just nuts already. I need to get started much earlier, but because the sunrise is so late, the sunrise isn't until after 8. I wouldn't get any good camera footage if I came out too much earlier. Oh well. Anyway, I needed to sleep. The sangria was flowing very freely last night and got a bit of a headache at the mo. That's alright, I'll be able to run it off. Okay, so far I started pretty much down by the Mediterranean, and now I'm running inland just a little bit. Because we're running inland, we're going uphill. It's just a gradual incline, which, oh, it ain't easy. The good thing is that my next stop is the highest point on this entire run, so I'll be running back down towards the Med after this. Can anyone guess where I'm going next? Okay, I knew this bit was coming. I don't know if the camera shows just how steep this road is, but all of a sudden I had to take a left right up the hill, and now this path is super steep heading up to the next location. Okay, admittedly, this was poor planning on my part. I am at Park Güell. Now, the time right now is about 8:30 in the morning, and the park doesn't open until 9:30. So if you decide to run up here and you want to run around the park, that is something to keep in mind. Also, the people guarding the park entrance, they told me that it is 10 euros to get in and there is no free part of the park. When I was here a couple years ago, there were some trails that you could just run around in the park without having to pay to go and see the architecture. But 10 euros is a good deal. Park Güell is an absolute gem. It was designed by Antoni Gaudi, and even just with the motif along the top of the wall, you can see it's definitely Gaudi inspired. And the entire design of the park was inspired by nature, so that means there are no straight lines. But get this, Park Güell wasn't initially supposed to be a park, it was supposed to be a modern housing estate. It was built between 1900 and 1914 and officially opened in 1926. And actually there are several houses on the Park Güell estate, and Antoni Gaudi lived in Park Güell until he died. And he actually died in 1926, the year the park opened. And for those of you who are wondering how he died, Antoni Gaudi was actually hit by a tram car, and he was actually left to die in the street after he was mistaken for a homeless person because of his modest clothing. Okay, so even though I'm not going in today, I have been in there before. It's absolutely beautiful. It covers 17 hectares. It's absolutely huge. So Park Güell is definitely somewhere you're going to want to come and check out. Okay, on to the next place. This next place is all downhill, so this is going to be an easy part of my run, except this first part of the run because this is a super steep downhill. Come on. Oh, there's a lot of streets to cross. Everywhere there is a lot of streets to cross. Sometimes I get lucky and I have the green man telling me to cross. Other times, not so lucky. And there isn't much crossing without the light being green for me to go, just because there is so much traffic. Okay, next up is probably the most iconic architectural structure in Barcelona. It's the La Sagrada Familia. And I know you've seen it. I know you've seen it. If you come to Barcelona, you really have to go inside. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is a work of art. And it should be, because they've really put the time in on this church. And it is the largest unfinished Catholic church in the world. And they started construction on March 19th in 1882. That's right. It's 140 years in the making, but the good news is that they are due to finish it in 2026 to commemorate the 100-year anniversary of Gaudi's death. And Gaudi is the designer of this church. And he's actually buried inside, which you'll get to see when you go inside. That's right, 140 years to build this church up until this point, which means at this point it's taken longer to build than the Egyptian pyramids. And it's quite a structure, so you would think they would have some trouble along the way. I mean, just normal construction issues. But get this, during the Spanish Civil War, an arsonist went inside and set a fire. That fire partially destroyed the plans to build the church and the plaster model. But luckily, they were able to put those plans back together. But this is the interesting part. It took them 16 years to put those plans back together. That's quite a puzzle. All right, this is just a run stop. We're not staying long this time, but really I can't imagine you coming to Barcelona and not seeing La Sagrada Familia, and I highly recommend going inside. It is well worth it. All right, what's next? Where should we go next? Let's keep heading downhill. Alright, the next thing to see on your tour of Barcelona when you're running is the Arc de Triomphe. And it was built by Joseph Vilaseca y Casanovas as the main access gate for the 1888 Universal Exhibition. It is 29.8 meters high, 27.7 meters wide, and 12.4 meters long. The frieze overlooking the Passage de Saint-Jean is welcoming the nations. They're welcoming the nations to the fair. There is a frieze on the other side showing the city presenting the medals to the participants of the exhibition. And if you find yourself wondering about what the release show on the arch, on one side there are reliefs showing agriculture and industry, and on the opposing sign it is commerce and art. There is meaning behind everything, and it's getting later and later, and I'm supposed to be meeting my wife for breakfast pretty soon, so I've got to get on with this run. Arc de Triomphe, you're going to see it in your travels to Barcelona, I'm sure. Guys, I gotta be honest with you, you could skip everything that I've shown you up until this point. If you want to go for a run in Barcelona, the promenade on the waterfront is definitely my favorite place to go. There is no traffic, you can just run along the beach, and it is absolutely gorgeous. The most popular, the most well-loved beach in Barcelona is Barceloneta Beach, that's how you say it. And the funny thing is, they have such gorgeous beaches here in Barcelona, but it wasn't until 1992 when they had the Olympics, they decided to focus on the beaches so people could come and have something to do. Before the Olympics, this was just a fishing district, and it was all industry and not a nice place to come and hang out. But now the beach is absolutely stunning. Probably gonna come back and go for a swim in the warm waters of the Mediterranean. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good after a nice long run. All right, this run has taken me far longer than I expected, so I really do have to head back. I told Harmony I'd meet her for breakfast in like 20 minutes, and I'm at least half an hour away. Okay, a couple more things on the way back, and then we're done. Hi guys, this is the Cathedral of Barcelona. It is a Gothic cathedral. Obviously, a lot of stuff in Barcelona is in the Gothic style. Let me turn around so the light's a little bit more on my face. And it is the seat of the Archbishop of Barcelona. It is 295 feet tall. So, let me move my head out of the way. Yeah, it's pretty high. And interestingly, the cathedral was built on a site that originally housed a Roman temple 2,000 years ago. And that was back before Barcelona was called Barcelona. It was called Barcino. Okay, now I really have to get back. Okay, while you're looking at the cathedral back there on your travels, you have to explore the Gothic Quarter. Now, the Gothic Quarter is just to the east of La Rambla, and the cathedral is right in the middle of it. And there are tons of little alleys with little shops. There is architecture dating back to the Roman era, and there is lots of medieval architecture also. It is quite fascinating and a gorgeous place to run, at least before all the tourists come out. It can get quite busy, and it's already like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm having to dodge people up and down the road. Okay, there were just a couple other things I wanted to show you, but it wasn't anything spectacular, more like big shopping districts. Oh, I was going to show you the Avenue of Angels, or Avenida de la Angel, which is the most walked down street in Spain. Apparently 3,500 people walk down that street every hour, which I was a little surprised it wasn't La Rambla, because that always seems busier, but it's a lot narrower. Anyway, I am back at my hotel. We stayed at Le Méridien, which is just off of La Rambla. Pretty good hotel, and I'm gonna go in, get showered, and then I have made it in time for breakfast. Guys, thanks for staying all the way to the end of the video. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.